You want to tell the world you're in love with a girl named Fran? So you find an overpass and you say it with a spray paint can. Blue lights start a-blinking, those handcuffs click. You know who to call, and you better call quick. Saul, Saul, you better call Saul. He'll fight for your rights when your back's to the wall. Stick it to the man, justice for all. You better call Saul.
Alright, hey guys, what's up? Mega Gamer here, and here's my review of episodes 3 and 4 of Better Call Saul. Yes, it is a bit weird I'm doing these at 2 episodes at a time. I'm going to do that simply because I am very busy, believe it or not, doing stuff and fangs. But, yeah, it's hard for me to actually find time now to do much YouTube stuff. So these reviews, they're short, they're sweet, and I always find a way to watch this episode as soon as possible, the day it comes out, whatnot, each new episode. However, it's not easy for me to get the reviews done. So if you guys will just bear with me throughout the first season and maybe even the rest of the season, probably not the later seasons because I'll be finished school by then, so hopefully I have a lot more time to just relax, do YouTube stuff for my own time in terms of whatnot. However, for now, at least the first season, I'm going to be doing reviews for every 2 episodes, just so I've got a bit more time to evaluate. I know it's not that great because I can't really give a beat-for-beat thought process on every episode. I'm getting a bit bigger chunks than I should be getting before doing reviews, but that's just how I'm going to do them. So I hope you guys don't really mind, but that's how it is. I got episode 5 pretty much ready for me right now to watch, so I'm going to try and make this brief just so I can do that. But episode 3 and 4, now, let's just jump into this quickly. This isn't the first time I'm trying to film this. I'm going to try and just summarize all this introduction stuff really quickly. The thing with Better Call Saul, and after sitting down and evaluating, I watch each episode at least twice because, my mum loved Breaking Bad, so I usually watch the show whenever I feel like it or whenever I get a chance. And then I'll watch it again with her because I like watching it a second time, especially since I'm doing reviews now like this. But so I do end up catching the show at least twice, sometimes 3 times even, with these episodes, just to gather more opinions. And the main genesis, the main idea that I was getting, watching episode 3, then watching episode 4 of the show, just kind of watching this episode as it's coming out at this pace. Which, keep in mind, I watched Breaking Bad all in one big, binge, pretty much. Like, over the course of a month, I watched Breaking Bad because it was all out by then and I was all ready to watch it. Better Call Saul, I mean, this along with Prison Break are the only shows I ever watch from the beginning, every episode, every week, as it came out. And I really love Prison Break. Quite honestly, it's not that easy to go back to because of shows like Breaking Bad and that kind of really raise the standard of TV shows. Because, quite frankly, in these reviews, there's no point in me getting into the technical side of things. I might as well just stay to all story because Vince Gilligan's team, they have nailed that. These are incredibly cinematic shows, very well shot, very well crafted and created. There's no point even going into the technical aspect, commenting on that, because it's just so damn good. It's kind of pointless. So these reviews were solely focused on the story elements, which, quite frankly, I'm a fan of because I can just get into what I want to talk about because there's no point saying every single video I make, it was shot as great as always, blah, 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 because we all know it's shot. If it actually one day it just feels funny, I will point that out, but generally there's no point talking about it because that standard is set. And because of that standard, I can't go back to shows like Prison Break anymore. I watched it again about a year ago, and I was like, this isn't that great, actually. I'm not a fan of this. Regardless, I'll leave it in the nostalgia factor for me. I won't try and watch it again because, it'll probably just be even worse for me at that point. Regardless, Better Call Saul's a different pacing to Breaking Bad, in my opinion, simply because I'm watching it live as opposed to watching it all in one binge as a series. With that in mind, thinking about these episodes, actually, and going through these episodes, thinking about everything, I'm actually super, super excited about the story. The more I think about it, the more I praise the story and think, this is actually a fantastic story, what they're doing. It's a different pace from Breaking Bad, which say, every character had a goal. Walt was to, cook more meth and get more money. And, I guess not every character had goals, but it's like the overall tone of the show was like, okay, we got to get to this goal where Walt has enough money to save his family from the meth, from making the meth. And then after a while, it kind of turned into all the consequences of making meth and his brother getting involved, a brother-in-law or whatever. There was that tone of the series where it's like you always kind of had a set goal. You're always like, okay, there was always that feeling of, okay, we have to get through this situation, we have to get to this goal or whatever. Better Call Saul, I mean, we know where it's going to end up, but other than that, we're literally on a roller coaster going through this ride, even more so than Breaking Bad, because this show's a lot less direct in its overall story arc. It's like, yes, we want to see Jimmy succeed and become Saul and become, a big, successful lawyer and whatnot, but the actual overall story structure of this is really unclear, because it feels like we're just going through the motions. This is a much better definition of on a roller coaster ride than Breaking Bad, which had goals and had dreams and that. And it's like, okay, I feel like we're gonna end up here. This is a lot less clear. This is definitely a lot more of a roller coaster ride with Better Call Saul, and it is weird, especially not watching it in a binge, watching it weekly. We're getting tiny little segments of the season or the whole series at a time. But it's still, but by the end of episode 4, I was seeing how this was all building up together, everything they were showing, and I was like, this is awesome. Anyway, I'm gonna just jump into the story parts now, because that's what I feel like with Better Call Saul's doing. Like, we were watching, it's like, how much of this is relevant? What is relevant? What's not relevant? I mean, it's all relevant, because they're just that good storytellers that everything is relevant and everything is well made. But like I said, this is the true definition of a roller coaster ride, because this is just event after event after event, and some of this crazy stuff just happens out of nowhere, and it's really exciting. I'm really excited for the episode 5, which is sitting there waiting for me to bloody click play, but I've got to do this review first. Anyway, interesting thing about episodes 3 and 4 was that they both started off with kind of like a flashback and a background story establishing moment, where episode 4, and this is working it out backwards, is that episode 4 you have Jimmy with his funny, Saul Goodman, bloody reference, which, man, I feel like a dickhead for never catching that. I'm sure half the internet did. But that was cool, because we got a glimpse at the slipping Jimmy persona, if you will, and then the start of episode 3. Keep in mind, this is working backwards in how the show did it chronologically. You're seeing Chuck kind of bailing Saul out, or Jimmy. I gotta get used to saying Jimmy. And the interesting thing was that there was kind of like this promise that he was never going to get back into this, promise that he was kind of going to mature, kind of get into his own game and kind of leave the slipping Jimmy life kind of crap, And that kind of turns its head around when Chuck gets the newspaper at the end of episode 4 and sees that, oh no, Jimmy did this whole billboard scenario to kind of, be a person's hero and be that man and kind of get the advantage, kind of to get people to feel sorry for him and whatnot. And that was fantastic when that kind of clicked for me, because at first, I'm walking in, Jimmy's hiding newspaper and whatnot. Mindlessly I'm just thinking, oh, why not just show him? What's the big deal? Blah blah blah. But then I realized, well, first off, the fucking billboard right there, clear knockoff. So Chuck wouldn't have been too fond of that, especially since Chuck is in support of Jimmy changing his own damn name for his own practice. But then I realized that all ties back to that very first scene in episode 3, where Chuck's there waiting for Jimmy to be his lawyer and to kind of get him out of this jam that he's clearly being caught in. And I'm really happy how the start of episode 4 ties back to that billboard scene, which was excellent. That was really fun to see. That was really awesome. I mean, this show is a roller coaster ride, both in terms of where we're actually going and the kind of pacing of it, where it's like, it just jumps, like, just like that. It just jumps and everything's exciting again. And it's I don't want to say it's a slow paced show. It really isn't. It's definitely not a slow paced show, but sometimes it can feel like that. And it doesn't really bother me. It's like, once you actually work out what's happening with the story, you kind of go back and evaluate it, then you realize its purpose and you realize how kind of cool everything they're doing is with it. I mean, I'm absolutely loving the story so far. There is a sense of kind of like just dropping story beats out of nowhere. The Nacho situation, Jimmy gets Nacho out. Nacho kind of like works out, you're clearly the one who made the call, blah, blah, blah. And then Jimmy, kind of explains to him like, look, whoever made the call, he says, whoever made the call was looking out for the children, and he did you one big hell of a favor. And look, someone just got you out right now, hence me. And then Nacho just walks away, and then that's it seemingly for him. He just walks away, and it's like, okay, does that end? Did that talk work? And that's the end of his story. The same goes for the Kettlemans. It's like once once Jimmy found the Kettlemans in the camp, he kind of took that bribe, which I honestly really thought he wasn't gonna, because it reminded me of the first time we see Saul in Breaking Bad. The first time Walt walks in, he's all disguised and everything, he's talking about Brandon Mayhew trying to get him out. Saul says, no, can't really do it, sorry, you're gonna have to go. And then Walt offers a bribe, and then Saul denies it. Saul doesn't take the bribe. And I thought it was playing towards that. It was showing he doesn't take bribes. But he did take it, and that really interested me. It's like, maybe this is all leading somewhere to a point where he's like, he didn't want to take that bribe because of this event, and this is kind of like the start of that event. That'd be really cool if that's what they're trying to hint at. But that's what really surprised me, that he took that bribe. And, he pretty much used the majority of that bribe to kind of like get back, get a little sassy and kind of get back at the the big corporation. And oh man, I'm blanking. I'm sorry. What was the name of that corporation? I'm sorry, but you guys know who I'm referring to. I'm gonna open it up. Ow. Sorry. Where's the billboard? I'm really sorry here, guys. Well, the JM, well, that's the Jimmy McGill logo. But that was fun. I can't even remember where I was going with that. He basically uses all that money to kind of rip them off, essentially. With the advertising, get sassy and get back at them. Hamruld? I think that's it. Hamruld and McGee. Yeah, I thought that was a cool thing. The interesting thing that I think one of the most interesting aspects of this is Jimmy's relationship with what's her name? It's not Kate. I'm sorry, I'm blanking out on this. I really am. It's been almost a week since I've seen this. So I am blanking out on this, and I'll search it up because I'm a silly boy. I don't want to spoil it for myself. I haven't seen the new episode yet. Kim. I was thinking Kate. It's Kim, sorry. That's the most interesting relationship to me, is with Jimmy and Kim, because I was pretty happy with Mike's inclusion. I'm just going to mention this. Mike's inclusion into the third episode to kind of help Jimmy kind of find the Kettlemans. That was really cool, but then in episode 4 it kind of dumbed down his appearance again. That kind of disappointed me. I really want to see him get into it. I want to see Mike in this more, because Mike's my favorite character in Breaking Bad, so I want to see him in this more. But going back, Jimmy and Kim, that's the most interesting relationship there is, because Kim's kind of got this, I want to say a thing for Jimmy, but they've got this interesting relationship where the two care for each other. And Kim has that bit of a smile when she sees what Jimmy did with the billboard and the press and pretending to save that guy. That was really fun as well. That relationship really interests me. I'm curious to see where that's going to go. I'm actually more curious to see where it originated from. Were they actually together at some point? It's a possibility. There's suggestion there. I don't know if it's that though. Man, I'm just getting all sorts of messages today. That's where I want to see where that originated from. I want to see what their relationship is, because we're like dropped in on these two in their relationship, however it may be, and yeah, I want to know more about it. I don't want to be dropped in. I want to find out, because those two are the most interesting, I think, in the situation with Kim. She's like on the other end. She's at the enemy's headquarters basically, but she's still good friends with Jimmy, and she kind of supports him in a way, and that's fun. That's a fun dynamic to see. That's the most interesting relationship. I want to see more from that. Yeah. I'm just thinking, what else is there to say really about these episodes? They're very well made. More Mike, please. More Mike. Please, that's all I have to say. I just need more Mike in my life. Yeah, really good episodes. These episodes, more than anything, like the first 2 episodes were kind of establishing what the show is going to be like, but episodes 3 and 4, in my opinion, were more here. here's where the story's going, and I'm actually a huge fan of what they're doing with the story, because it just seems really fun to me. This seems like a really, really fun story, and there's a lot of interesting elements. I mean, like, when you piece it together chronologically, it's a great story, especially when you throw in those 2 flashbacks of the whole, Chuck relationship with Jimmy, and it ties back to how Chuck at the end finds that newspaper and realizes what Jimmy's doing again. So there's that kind of cool arc that hopefully we're going to explore more in the next episode. What else is there? Yeah, of course, the Jimmy and Kim relationship. The kind of little battle that's going on between, Jimmy and the big corporation, the Hamlet officers, if you will, whatever. I guess their rival is it's a little more in Jimmy's favor now. He had 8 missed calls when he got to his office at the end of the 4th episode. That was kind of like a big victory moment for Jimmy. That was cool. I was a fan of that. So there's still a lot of questions, but I'm absolutely loving where the story's going. The acting is great, and the episodes itself are great. Like, they're really, really well made. Again, I don't have to go into that. We know this. We're just here to talk about the story and the discussion. I'm becoming more of a fan with each and every episode of this series, because they're just so damn good. And if you sit down and think about it, even in these little chunks we're getting, you piece it together with everything else that we've seen so far, and the story just seems so damn good. I'm a huge fan of this story so far. I can't wait to see the rest of it. Speaking of which, I'm going to end this review now. I know I should have probably gone in a little more in depth, but I'm really sorry. But I will for episodes 5 and 6, I promise. I swear, I just got a lot to do this week. And plus, I really want to watch this next episode, because now I'm talking about it, I'm like, I want to watch this next episode now. So thanks for watching. I'm Mega Gamer. Stay tuned for more Better Call Saul reviews and other gaming unrelated stuff, even though that's my main channel. Thanks for watching. I'm Seal.